What time is it? It's journey time, and time for another creative journey using Stampin' Up! Products. My name is Kathy Haynes. Today we are going to get started back. As many of you know, we built a beautiful metal barn about 4 years ago, and my husband created the studio of my dreams in a wing of that barn. I posted a lot of pictures on my blog, and all that will be listed below. But tragically, we had a barn fire. We believe it was due to our LG refrigerator. The compressor caught fire and burned down our entire barn, and we did not have barely any kind of insurance on the barn. So sadly, I lost everything I had accumulated since about 2001 is when I began playing with Stampin' Up. So I am on the rebuild, and I am going to post a video of the what happened and the rebuild as soon as we get started. We're getting there. But I just want to say that I will include videos of all these amazing, amazing crafters, Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, people that I used to know from a different crafting company, people I never met who have sent me boxes upon boxes of Stampin' Up! Supplies and other supplies also. I am just overwhelmed by the generosity, which I never would have felt and known that it was out there if this hadn't happened. So I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. You'll see in my videos that nobody was hurt because it was a terrible fire. I have a group of demonstrators that I do swaps with. So I hope if you're a demonstrator and you don't have a monthly swap in your community or your area, that you might think to do it, because I meet with about 14 demonstrators each month. We bring a card, and it's a shoebox swap for the smaller groups, but for the larger groups, it's a bring a fully made card swap. And I get great ideas from that. So back to the story. This is my first video since the fire. And so I'm working with what I have been able to get. The demonstrators that I told you about, they gave me a card with $1,000 in it. So I was able to place the biggest Stampin' Up! Order I have ever placed to start to rebuild my inks, my paper, everything from the ground up. It's an awkward feeling, as you might know, to be a crafter or a card maker and suddenly have absolutely nothing to make a card with. So I just want to thank everybody. I will do a personal thank you in my reconstruct video, but meanwhile, people I don't even know, like Met, thank you. Thank you. So let's get started. This I saw, and maybe it's a very old technique, but I had never done it. And I don't know what let me stand up here and see if you can see how shiny it is. And it's not using glossy paper, because I am using our regular dye inks. So I'm going to be using on the front Flirty Flamingo and Granny Apple Green. And if you do that on glossy paper, it's not going to dry, or it's going to smudge. So let's get started, and I will show you how I did this. Now, the first thing I did is I embossed using our new, I don't know the name of it, and I will put a link in the bottom. Whoops, this is the Forever Fern that I'm using on another one. Hold on. Where'd you go? Here we are. Oh, goodness. So we're using this embossing folder. It's rather large. It's approximately, I would say, 9 inches tall. And so I'm using in the middle. And what I've done to know where I want to place it, because this technique you have to emboss twice. So I put some painter's tape. I put green frog's tape on it and put where I'm going to put my corner of my cardstock. And over here I also used an alcohol ink, a Blends, But I prefer this after the fact because I can take it off and I won't have a million places on my card. So what I've done is I've run this through my embossing machine, and this is what I've gotten. See, it's not shiny. It's just embossed, but you must agree it's absolutely beautiful. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece and you're going to take some blending brushes. Now I have to replenish my blending brushes still, but meanwhile I have some off-brands. And I'm going to use Granny Apple Green and Flirty Flamingo. Now I want to show you, because I don't know how mine's going to come out. Each time I did it, see how colorful this one is compared to this one that's very faint? And I don't know which would be your favorite, but each time I did it, it's come out a little different. And I think they're all beautiful. Aren't they gorgeous? So back to the card. First, I'm going to start with my Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to ink up, tap off, and I just want to do my flower. And be light-handed, because the slide is not light-handed, and you really get some color. So honestly, that is plenty of color. I'm going to ink up, tap off, and do the other little flowers. I'm just going to kind of go around the card looking for the flowers. I always tap off so you don't get a blob. And here's some lilies, or what are these? Bells, bluebonnet, I don't know what they're called. I'm not a florist, or a gardener, trust me. So here we go. See, I didn't tap off and that one came out a little too dark. So be sure to tap off, but it doesn't really matter if you make a mistake because it's your bouquet. Now I cut this paper. In the end, it will be 5 by 5, but I cut it 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and all the measurements will be below, which is the same size as the layer. But after I'm done with doing what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut 1/4 inch off, or 1/8 of an inch off each side, bringing it down to 5 by 5. So here we go. I've done that. Now I'm going to start on my leaves. Tap off. And these are just beautiful. Doesn't matter if you go over, you know, tap off. Whoop, wrong color. So we will now have a pink leaf. It is my bouquet, right? So here we go. And the chances of anybody even noticing that. Tap off. Oh, I did it again. I'm using the wrong color. Okay, so it's been, how many months did I say it's been since I made a video? Give me some grace. In the long run, it will all work out. So, thank goodness I'm doing this today because I'm going to go teach this card to some ladies this afternoon. Isn't that beautiful? And then you can decide what color. You could even use a third color, but I'm just going to kind of add a little bit of pink to these. They're little flares, or I added a little bit of green because I have it all backwards. But there you go. That's it. Okay. Then how did I make it so beautiful and shiny? You're not going to believe this. Or maybe you do. Maybe you've done this before, but I have never, and I just love this. So this is your basic. So this is very cheap shipping tape. And what I'm going to do is put this on top and rub it. The hardest thing is I'm going to move this paper because you really do want a smooth surface to pick it back up from. And pardon my mess on this table. Okay, then I'm going to take, these are, it doesn't stick, non-stick scissors. But any scissors will do. And you can overlap it. It's not going to ruin it. But you're just going to put, yes, shipping tape right on top. Yes, you saw it. Put shipping tape right on top of everything. Okay. However, now when you look at it, it really doesn't look as good as this because I am going to take this embossing folder. First, I want to kind of press this down pretty good. And I would suggest that you try to cut off a lot of the tape on the outside so it just doesn't get in there, but it's not cutting off. So let me try again. So I'm just going to leave it on there. You could even fold it over. And I'm going to put it here. Now the trick to this is you have to match it up exactly. So that's why I have this mark on here. And then I just kind of hold it up to the light to make sure. Can you see that? See when it's off? Can you see that? It's off. There, it's good. And then I look at all the pieces and they all look lined up to me. And you may not be able to see what I'm doing on here, but you will when you do it. You'll be able to tell when it's off because you'll have a double. See that? Just put it all in place. Then close it. Okay, nope, I'm off a little bit, so I'm gonna reopen it. Let me just lay it down here. Okay, so I'm looking at all sides. Down here at the bottom, my flower, everything looks perfect to me. And you will be able to tell, even if you can't see it on here. Now, I'm gonna take my cut and emboss machine that my sister-in-law, who's my upline, bought for me right after the fire. And I'm simply going to put this down here like this. Remove all plates so there's no shims or anything. And I'm going to run this through. Now the trick to the cut and emboss is to make sure that these sides are lined up. That's what makes it hard to go through. If they're lined up, it's very easy. This is going so smoothly. And now I want to go back because I'm a go backer. There we go. I like to run it through twice. And let's put this away. And let's see, drum roll. Dun, 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 dun. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Can you see that? All the shine and how it just looks like glossy paper. I just love this technique. So now I'm going to take my stamping trimmer and I want to cut that 1/8 off each side. So I'm going to start with this side. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to pull this down to the bottom. And I'm just going to go to the 1/8 mark. So this is 1/4, that first line. The other medium-sized line is 1/8. Cut it off. Then go here again to the medium-sized line. So I made it 1/4 of an inch bigger. So I'm taking 1/8 off of each side because 1/8 plus 1/8 is 2/8, which is 1/4. Here we go. I don't know if you're seeing this completely, but I'm just basically, I did it on all 4 sides. All right. Put that back. I'm going to bring back this. All right. So there we have it. That's the main part of the card. And isn't that not gorgeous? What do you see? Do you like it? I just think it's beautiful. So now after doing that, I'm simply going to glue this to my layer. Okay, so you see we have edges now where we didn't have before. So take my Tombow. You can use whatever adhesive you like. But I'm going to use the Tombow. Now, if you have good scissors, the best thing is I shouldn't have folded this over because it's harder to stick to a non-porous surface. So if you have good scissors, you could have just cut that off, but I am limited right now and those were not working. So I know this is how I want it to go. I'm going to lay that right down there. And thank you again for all the grace because it's been so long. I'm actually nervous doing this video. Now, I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to press it every now and then because I use that Isn't that pretty? Okay, now what I want to do is I've cut this beautiful frame, and let me show you where I cut that from. This is on the Winnie the Pooh, it's called something else, but these are the dies, the Sweet Words and Label dies, and I absolutely love them. And so that's what I've used to make this piece here, and also my sentiment piece. Okay, then I've used the fern and flora dies. That suite is beautiful. I don't even want to tell you because it's already went out of stock and come back, and probably out of stock again, because it is gorgeous. And I just love these dies. And then this is the Fern and Flora set, and we're going to be used You Make the World a Better Place on our sentiment. Okay, so we'll be using this piece and this piece. Aren't those gorgeous? Let me see, somewhere I have more, because I absolutely love. Here's some more of from another card. And this one, I like to do white a lot and then color, add ink. But this one I used the Granny Apple, and then I put the new pine color on that. Isn't that beautiful? So I just love this set. I'll be doing more next week with this set. So we have these two pieces, this piece, and this piece for the front. Now this I want to pop up, but I don't have any minis yet. So what I'm going to do is right here on the edge are all those ones that are like half ones. Go over here. So I don't know if you can see it, but I'm cutting right on making the little houses. So let's see, and then peel those off, turn this over, and I put it right in between each one. And I use about 6 of them because I want it to be firm, but you just don't want it to show. And nobody will ever see that these are crooked on the inside, okay? Unless you're my brother, who would tear it apart to find the flaw. Remember the duck, Steve? There we go. And here's another one. And then we just need one more. So 6 seem to work for me really well. And then just gonna peel this off, There we go. There we go. All right, and I'm going to use my pick a tool, pop out the chads, or the ones that didn't go through. Okay, so I'm going to put this right here. And I'm trying to align it right with my flower, so it's the focal point, while making the sides and everything even. Whoop. There you go. We're almost there. Now we're going to take these ferns, and I'm going to use glue. So, and all I want to do, because I like them to still have life, so I just go right on the stem and going down, but I don't go all the way up the stem to the top, because I like mine to kind of have life to them, you know, to move. And this one's going to go on the outside, so I'll run my spine up there. And then this one, I'm going to do the same thing, not all the way up. Okay, and I'm just going to place that right. I don't want to cover it up, my flower, but right about there. What do you think? You know, and it's your bouquet again. You decide. Now I want to stamp my sentiment And because it's soft and pretty, of course, I didn't want to use black. So I used, where are you? Smoky Slate. And do you see how I did that? You put the name on your stamp pads here, but I also put it right on the top, so when it's sitting down, you can see it. So ink it up again, line it up. And I don't know if my head's in the way. There you go. You make the world a better place. Then I'm just going to put some dimensionals behind it. 1, 2, 3. Take this off. And for those of you with no fingernails, you can use the pokey tool for this too. It's perfect. See how easy that was? And now I want to just put that right about there. You make the world a better place. Isn't that pretty? I like that sentiment. So now I'm going to take my cardstock. You find it, my base, which is right here. Let's take it out of this one. Okay, here's the base. Again, the dimensions will be below, but it's just, you take your long 8.5 by 11 cardstock and you cut it right at 5.5, fold it in half, you have a 5.5 inch square card. So I'm going to pop my focal point up using dimensionals again. I always put one in the middle just to keep it from collapsing on itself. It just gives it more sturdiness. Because I have nails, I can just peel these off. Okay. Line up my card. And top, bottom, side to side. I think that's about good. And push. Okay. And so that's the front of the card. Now I added some bling. This was generic bling that I bought. But you could bling this up any way you want, or you could leave it just as it is. I think it's beautiful. And then what I did, now by the way, this frame was created by putting these two together. I have a magnetic base that I use, and then you run it through and you get this, right? But take that away and run it through the same one, you get this. So this is my sentiment piece for the inside of my card. And I'm just going to take the leaves. When I did it with the Granny Apple Green from the outside that I used, it came out too stark. So I'm going to use the Lemon Lime Twist on the inside. And I'm just going to ink up my stamp. Okay. And I just wanted to stamp a little bit, because this is your sentiment for the inside, so you don't want to use it all up. And I just thought that lighter color was better, but you can decide. All right, and then I simply glued this right down, take out the chads. With your pick a tool, and I used a different tool because it was there. Put some glue on the back. Make sure your chads are gone because it will leave a bump. And you don't want to go, don't use too much, and don't get too close to the edge because you don't want it to squeeze out. All right, so this is our card. Now I'm going to pick it up, put this on the inside, and I like that white on white look. And there you go. What do you think? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be uploading a few in the next couple of weeks because I'm trying to get back in rhythm using what I have. And again, I hope that you'll like and subscribe so that you'll get notified each time I upload another video. And also I would love for you to see my barn video. So the barn, I'm going to include photos of it being built for me. My husband put so much love into it. And then pictures of it, my studio as we used it. And then the aftermath, and then out of the ashes, just like the Bible says, the beauty from ashes, that I know God is a God of restoration that we're going to have one day. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for putting up with the bloopers, and have a blessed day. And remember, may all of your layers be straight and all of your bling shine. Have a great day. Bye.